I got to be honest with you. It blows my mind how everyone always tells me that I'm so easy to talk to and I'm able to, I could talk to a tree, not caring if it would listen. And my mom always says, I got the gift of gab and all that. But when it comes to sitting down and trying to do one of these videos, just to talk, maybe to do a Bible lesson with someone online like this, or like to make a video. So many people do it. It is the hardest thing for me to do. I am by far no great singer or anything like that. I can put myself out there singing a song and feel okay about it. Uh, it's it's and it confuses me um, why I can't talk to this phone the way that I do to an individual. Um, I can sit here. It's to add another layer to it. As much as I do sing and play out in front of people, um, I never feel comfortable doing that. Um, it's easier in person for me to talk to you one on one versus sing a song to you. Even though that's what I really want to do, uh, it's not so easy for me to sing in front of people just because of judgment. I've heard people you know uh, whatever their thoughts are about me singing, and I have to say I've told a lot of people this also. One of the driving factors to me to for me to keep singing is someone a long time ago told me once that there was 100,000 people that hated to hear Bob Dylan sing, but there was millions that loved to hear him sing. It's a good thing he didn't listen to those 100,000 because people would have never heard his voice. And I'm not even a Bob Dylan fan necessarily, um, but I know that he was not a great singer, but he had something to say, and the people that needed to hear it, I guess, took an ear to it. And I pray that the things that I have to say, the people that need to hear it, I pray that it gets to them. And um, so I guess just a lot of thoughts this morning. I'm leaving to go back home today, and it's been such a long time, and there's things that are expected of me when I get back home, and uh, you know, to get away and to get some rest is so needed. Um, Even though it's there's a whole side where I feel like I've gotten rest, but at the same time, there's so much going on with where I'm at in Arkansas that I've gotten very little to no rest. And then for the last week, I've been really, really sick, massive headaches just every single day, all night long, running fever. I was told that I had a tick fever, and then the doctor said that I didn't, but I'm still being told that I do have it. So I was tested negative for COVID and flu and all that. But uh, I guess what stirred all this up is this online Bible study that I'm doing with some friends right now. Um, and it's about a revival that happened overseas. And man, there was such a great revival that took place. But then, as you read farther into it, you start hearing of all the persecution, and you start hearing, I mean, how does revival take place? What happens within a revival? Man, God's mercy is seen, and His grace is just overflowed. But then you start reading about how preachers were asked to leave their church, and people were beaten because of their boldness in Christ all of a sudden, and the hardship, and us in America, man, we have it so easy. We have it so easy because being a Christian here is, for the most part, easy. There's so many that are Christians, but you start looking at overseas, and I've dove into it for years now, and I love, one of my most favorite things is to read about revivals. And there's this one that I had never heard of, and for me to read about this, man, it's just really opening up some thoughts and stuff. And so I wanted to make a video for my youth this morning, and like I said at the beginning of this, very difficult. Difficult for me to do it because to be honest, to be honest, for me to put it out there, to do a Bible study, even though I know it's going to honor God, I know it's going to be from my heart, I know that there's going to be scripture involved. I don't know. It's so hard for me to see, to be able to watch back what I've said. I start judging myself and how, I should have done this, I should have done that. You forgot this, you forgot that, and then I end up not doing it. And to know that parents will see it and be like, "Oh, this is their youth pastor. Oh, that's their youth pastor." And if you've made it this far in this video, it's probably because you know me, and that could be a good or bad thing, good or bad thing. But the love that I have for people, if you know me, if you've crossed paths with me, if I've given you a high five, I love you. My heart is praying for you. But I've been thinking about like preachers and evangelists and teachers and, all the different types of, people that walk with Christ, and trying to put myself into one of those categories is actually very difficult. Probably a lot because I've never liked being put in a category. And if it put me in a box and I just want to tear down the walls. So for me, way back growing up, period, church pushed me away more than brought me in. And I won't go through all the stories over and over of how I've got some terrible testimonies of what Christians have said to me, and as a kid, as an adult, I mean, it just blows my mind the things that, in the name of Jesus, things have been said. So whenever I came to Christ, it was because I fully knew, like, I wanted and needed something more. I wanted something, thankfully, as I was seeking out in my mind that I needed that I was about to make a change in my life, God heard those thoughts in my mind, and He rushed in. I mean, God, man, the testimony of Him coming into my life, or me hearing his voice finally, and not hearing, religious talk. Um, it was at such a perfect time. I was so vulnerable when I had a conversation that I thought was with myself, but it was with God. And I realize that now looking back. Um, he swooped in and said, "Give me a chance." And I heard him. I've been thinking the last couple of days about audible voices, hearing. There's a thing going around right now where, for years, but I'll try not to chase too far on this, but I don't even know if this thing's recording. I can't see it. Um, uh, they're saying that phones and 5G network is getting into people's heads, and they're able to actually speak into your head, and you hear a voice and it makes you go crazy, or you start following suit in whatever direction they're getting you to go in. But I heard that voice, but it wasn't a 5G voice. It was the big G voice. How about that? Man, I could take that and run with it. Um, uh, I did. I heard the voice of God, and I still hear it repeating over my head what He spoke to me about that day, to give Him a chance before I made my next decision. And so, with all that being said, whenever I started chasing after God and surrendering to God, I didn't care. Uh, I I didn't care what people thought about me anymore at that point. Uh, in a religious way or whatever. I just knew that I needed God. I needed to give God a chance. And so I took it upon myself to have a growing relationship with Him. I didn't rely on other people, and I sought after people to put into my life, um, as friends. I surrounded myself with manly, manly God of men. I don't know how, whatever I'm trying to say. Uh, People who love God and not religion. I was just so drawn to that, and I was like a sponge with those people. And if uh, this video might make it to some of those folks, because I still dearly love them, and I still look up to each and every one of them. They're all great mentors of mine. Um, and they have not changed one bit in their walk with God other than growing closer to Him. So praise God, He put the right people in my path. And for me to be able to see them over a 16-year period, not walk from God, but to get closer to God, man, what a blessing, because I do know people that have walked away from God, and that hurts my heart dearly. And so anyway, I won't go into that. I guess what I was really thinking about this morning was how important it is for us to have a personal relationship with Christ and to personally seek Him out. Um, I've read in the Bible where you're not supposed to challenge God, but then I've also read in the Bible where people challenge God. And, um, um, well, I've always said that I did challenge God. Um, when He said, "Give me a chance," I said, "Okay, God, here you are. Here's your chance. Prove yourself to me." And He has faithfully over and over and over. And so all the people that going all the way back to the, like, teacher, preacher, evangelist, and all that stuff, not knowing where I put myself into those little categories. Because I've been kind of called or told that I was individually from different people, each one of those. And I sat quietly one time. I know I'm chasing another rabbit, but I sat quietly in a room with a whole bunch of um, people that it was like a night of worship. And man, they were so free in spirit. They were jumping all over the place, running around praying and just like praying over one another. And I just was talking to someone about this. Whenever I got there, I needed to sit and be still. I go so much and I do so much that I knew in my spirit, man, I just wanted to sit and be in the presence of God. I didn't need to jump and dance. I didn't need I needed to sit still and be in the presence of God. And other people eventually were like coming up and laying hands on me, and they didn't know me. Very few people in that room knew who I was. And no one probably knew where I was at in my walk with God, if I was having a hard day or good day or whatever. But by everyone in the room being full of joy and laughter and prayer and crying and all the emotions you can think of, I just sat there. And people were praying over me to be healed, and they were praying. And I didn't change. I didn't tell them, hey, I didn't like stop them, and because what if there's something going on in me that I don't even realize? So I didn't want to stop them, but at the same time, I I was thinking to myself, did they even spend time with God before they came and prayed over me? Because they've got it wrong. I mean, some of them, but because they didn't know me, they didn't know that I was saved. But some of them was, praying deliverance and just all these different things. And I just had a heart of gratitude. My heart was so full to know that I was in the presence of God. There was such a joy over me and peace. So, trying to get back to the whole thing. I can't believe I'm still recording. It'll break my heart if it's not recording, to be honest with you, because for me to just sit here and talk like this, trying not to make a perfect video, trying not to do any of that, just to be here. Hey, Annie. I don't know if you... Come here, Annie. Well, out. She walked away. So, I know the ones that know are like, oh, Lord, there he goes again. But when I'm teaching, whenever, as a youth pastor, okay, it took me 2 years before I would even acknowledge. I didn't even want to tell people that I was a youth pastor, and it's not because I was ashamed of it. It's because I don't like titles. I don't need that title to share Christ. But I was given an opportunity to spend time with teenagers and to help them make better choices than I made as a teenager. And that means a lot to me, because that's really what I wanted to do so bad, was to help people make better choices than I've made, and to maybe steer somebody in a better direction and share my testimony with some people that have had past with drugs and different addictions and depression and just all the things in life that I've dealt with. So anyway, as a youth pastor, and I really want to, I think it's so important for me to share the gospel, share the truth, share a path, but then it's got to be their journey. It's got to be your journey. And you never know. I mean, well, we're known by our fruit, okay? You can tell when somebody is really trying to walk with Christ or someone's not. Sometimes it's kind of confusing because of personalities. Everyone doesn't just show everything, all their emotions on their face or how they are at church. But I hope that what the Lord gets me to share with people gives them a hunger to want to go search for themselves. And thinking about, the preacher shows up every week, and I've thought about my preacher that has just gone to be with the Lord. He spent over 40 years sharing the gospel. How many times did he repeat a verse, saying the same verses over and over and over throughout the Bible? And then I've got a friend that rarely ever sees the same person twice. His heart is to seek out someone that is lost. And he doesn't ever spend time with them after the fact. His job is, as an evangelist, he goes out and he shares it with them right then, and hopefully gets someone saved. He does all the time. He's a wild man for Christ. Praise God. But then he depends on them. They've gotten saved. Now go find you a Bible, find you a preacher, find you a church, find you a community of believers, and get with them. And then he walks away. It's up to them. Sometimes he gets to see them again. Sometimes he doesn't. And man, there's such a difference in the role of just those two people. And they really count on one another, because every preacher counts on evangelists to get out there and share Christ with somebody. And then the evangelist counts on the preacher to do the weekly Bible studies. And I guess just sitting here thinking out loud, I do go out and I reach for the lost, but then I show up every Sunday to the same church, and I want to encourage people to go further into it and to dive deeper. And does that make me an evangelist, a teacher, a preacher? I just want to be the hands and feet for the Lord. That's what I want to be. Wherever he sends me. I've said it so many times, man. My favorite verse, I think it is my favorite verse. It's got to be, as many times as I've shared it. John 20:21, Jesus spoke and said, "My Father sent me, and now I send you." And I just hear that. And I've always wanted to put a sign up in the back of the church when you're walking out the doors, entering the mission field. Take what you've learned and go share it with somebody. And I always say one day that's going to be on those walls. That's I guess just thinking about the different people, the youth that I encounter, not knowing it scares me to know what they walk into every day in life, because just doing some little research and everything like that, I could be off right now, but I'm pretty certain that we are awake somewhere around 100 to 120 hours a week. We are awake, not asleep. And for teenagers that are going to church, if you're only showing up for service on Wednesday, you get an hour. If there's a lot at our church, for sure, we feed on Wednesday, and so a lot of people, we hang out. It's a very great fellowship time at Believers Worship Center in Benton. On Wednesday nights, a lot of them are showing up at 5:30. You know, that's an hour early to come hang out with their friends and to eat and just to get all the fellowship in. Man, that's a really good sign, seeing kids wanting to not only show up, but an hour early show up. And then they want to show up, stay an hour after if they can. So, but we'll just say roughly an hour and a half on Wednesday night. And then on Sundays, most churches start at 10:30 and they're done at 12. I say most, you've got some that do Bible studies and different things like that. But so that's 3 hours a week that a youth pastor gets to spend with their youth. And a lot of parents are really hoping that you're making contact with them, because they're not, to be honest. A lot of teenagers won't talk to their parents about hard things that they're going through. So they're depending on you. And then if you have a healthy, growing youth group, you get very little individual time with each person. And I guess that's what individual means. But and that's what I really want, is individual time. But I want them to have a fun time. I want them to really have a great time at church. So much so that they want to bring a friend. And I want them to be engaged to the point where they want to go to school and share it unashamed. And they will, want to serve and get their hands and feet, right off in the middle of it, somehow or another, some way. And that way, whenever they become adults, they will already be actively serving and just want to continue growing and to build the church. If they don't, I've noticed a difference between youth and youth that show up on Sunday and youth that show up on Wednesday. And then I've seen what the difference is when they show up Sunday and Wednesday. Because we've got kids that only come on Wednesday and then only come on Sunday. And then we've got some that show up both. There is a dramatic difference between the ones that show up both days and then the other. Such a difference. It's, very good difference. But if they're just showing up because their parents are bringing them, I can see that also. How do we change their mind? I just read something this morning talking about a mother that read her daughter's journal on actually, like, it was open. She didn't go into it. So anyway, it was open on a page and she read it, and her daughter that goes to church every Sunday wrote in her journal that she did not believe in God, that she was just doing it because that's what she was supposed to do to get through life, to make it easier, kind of keep your room clean, and you get bonus points to be able to go out with your friends on the weekend. And so her mother took it upon herself to start doing a family Bible study. And it changed her daughter's life. They were already showing up at church every week, and it wasn't clicking. If you're going to church and you got this growing relationship at church, and then you go home and you just kick back and watch football, or doing your own thing, and you've got teenagers in the house, that is making more of an effect on them than you realize. And I have realized in the last 2 years, it is a good thing to have hard conversations. It is a good thing to press in and try to find out things that are more important. So anyway, where are you at? Where am I at? Man. I'm being stretched in so many different directions, and it's my fault. And every time that I've told myself I needed to slow down, I've stepped down from one thing, and in the same day said, now I have time to do this. I don't know if it's ADHD. I don't know what all the definitions categories they could put me in. But I know that, just, man, am I in therapy with myself? If you're still hanging in here for this, you'll have to let me know if I need to cut this up into blocks. It wouldn't make any sense if you only listen to little portions of it, I guess. I don't know. But the Lord has blessed me. I guess the words would be so abundantly. I mean, I'm options are endless in my world, and I don't deserve any of it. It is strange how the Lord has really been so good to me, but He still knows my mind. He knows that I'm still Stephen. Talking with my nephew this morning through text, reminding him that it is a daily decision not to mess up. It's not like you check a box and all of a sudden you don't have to worry about sin no more. And the Bible does talk about the thoughts in your mind being sin. And if you're thinking about it, you might as well be doing it. And that, Lord, that scares me, because sometimes the thoughts don't get out of my head. Well, they do, but I mean, things just pop into your head just randomly all the time. Maybe that's that 5G thing. I don't know. But I'm counting on the big G, not the 5G, to keep me going. Man, I'd really like to dive into some of my options that I have in life, because both are so exciting, and both have such a strong future with Christ. And very interesting that a person might not be stuck with one choice in life. well, we're thinking about two different things right now, because yes, you have a choice to walk with Christ or not, but I'm just talking about choices in general, decisions to make in life. So I think that I might have said what I wanted to say this morning, and I have got to. Sounds like it might start raining again. I don't know. It's been storming all morning, so I wasn't able to load up everything, and it stopped raining. And instead of getting loaded up to head back home, I wanted to make this very raw, vulnerable video that's probably stupid long right now. I don't even know how long it is. But if you know me, you know that I love you. If I'm giving you a high five, I love you, and I look forward to one day getting a hug from you. But sometimes people might not be ready for a hug, but to make that initial contact, just to know, like, there's something about touch. There is something personal about it, and sadly, because of the time with COVID and all that, our youth, touch was taken away. I mean, they don't feel comfortable with hugs. They don't feel comfortable with touching. Adults don't feel comfortable with it or whatever, and I truly go off vibes, and some people give me vibes that, not that they don't like me, but you never know what people might have gone through, how they might have been touched wrongly in the past, and I just want to respect them as much as possible. But in general, most people are okay with a high five, and if I can just get that is me transferring as much love as possible through me from Christ to you. And so I love you, and I pray that the Lord be with you, and I pray that you take a minute after this video, or an hour, whatever you got, come back to it, spend some time with God, and ask what direction you need to be going. Challenging. God, fix me, heal me, but don't make it all about fix and heal. Give some gratitude. Thank God for all that He's done, even though there's things that you don't even know happened, that He stepped in the line. He stepped up to bat for you and protected you from something. And I'm so thankful for those moments, because I don't know if I would have been able to handle some of those in life. And one day you'll be able to look back and see where He was, like, throwing the sword and the shield up in front of you, and man, I'm glad He took that one. And so I don't want to just sit here and ramble. I'm just thankful that I hit record and took a minute to say how much I love you. There's, here we go. There are people online that do this in little short increments. I know there's millions of people now that do this kind of stuff. And it blows my mind. This one kid, it started off being a genuine thing about, she just wanted to say how she felt. And maybe that's the person that kind of stemmed into this, thoughts of my head doing this. But hers was really short, because I went back and watched the first one. But to watch her videos now, it's all about every video that I've seen, the last, like, I don't know, so many of them skipping through, it was like just going to the mailbox. Oh, thank you for sending me mail. Thank you for sending me mail. If you start off your first video saying, I went to the mailbox, thank you, mailman, for coming by, who's going to watch that? So I pray that people stay on track with the purpose of sharing love. I pray that people stay on track with the plan that God has for them, and not get sidetracked by the, I guess you could say, followers and all that stuff. I won't even go into my love-hate relationship with technology. In the same day that I thought about just deleting all of it, I'm sitting here making a video. I was told whenever I first became a youth pastor, I started doing research on, you know, I didn't grow up in church. I didn't know what a youth pastor was supposed to do other than hang out with kids and share love with them. And hey, that's what I'm supposed to still be doing. That's all I still know, I guess. So anyway, people online were suggesting that youth pastors, if you're not on every social media platform, you're not even trying to reach your youth. And the first thing that I wanted to do was, and I told them this too, I'm so honest with my youth. They know so much about me. I directly went and told them what I read. And then I told them that I know you're not going to, but the first thing that I read when it said get on every social media platform was, I want to go tell them all, let's delete all of our accounts. Let's completely get away from social media. Let's do the opposite of what the world wants us to do. And I really still feel that way. This time up in Mountain View that I get to have up here, and I've been up here 2 months now. Man, it's crazy how long I've been away from my home. But this is a second home. I love it so much up here. Golly, I love it. And so much of it, there's so much of a dramatic difference between here and home. It is literally like living in the future and living in the past. And there is so much of both of them that I love. I mean, it's really like back home, the music is different. The just being on stage back home, all in-ear monitors, very up to date with all the programs and how you're doing things, and then you come up here and they don't even believe in plugging in a guitar up here. Maybe not at church, they do that, but like locally in this general area, they just walk up. Sometimes you can't even hear the guitar play, and they just go up and just do it, and everybody applauds it, everybody loves it. And I'm just like, we should get back to that. We should unplug. We should take those in-ear monitors off. And why do we need microphones and all just all the stuff? It is crazy how different it is. And I have to be honest with you, I truly love and respect both 100%. And honestly, I want to be a part of both in every way, in every single way. To be real honest with you, the more I'm back home and it's this faster paced living, well, if you've heard me talk before, maybe not today, but I'm trying to slow down time. We've only got so much, so what do? The only thing that I can slow down when I'm at home is how fast I'm driving. So I went from a speed demon for years to, for a long time now, man, I drive the speed limit. I'll drive under the speed limit sometimes. I take back roads that take me longer to get somewhere. I just get there. I'll get there when I get there. You know, I might have to wake up a little earlier to be on time or whatever. But, um, huh, um, it just crossed my mind. I wonder if I'll make more of these, and maybe this initial conversation with myself doing this, um, maybe I've gotten the long-winded part out of me, and I'll just make some short ones. I don't know. Who knows? Um, I've been told before, if there's anyone that could carry on a 45-minute conversation without thinking about what the next words were, it would be me. Um, well, who knows? Maybe you're the person that has gone through and didn't have time to watch however long this video is and paused it and decided to come back and watch it, the rest of it later. I understand, because we don't, man, to sit down and read. Like, I read a 2-minute post this morning, and it felt to me like, I bet you most people would not watch a 2-minute video now. Our golly, what is it called? Your attention span is so short now, and it's because of videos. It's because of little shorts and all that. So whenever I started, golly, okay, I'm trying. When I started teaching, my pastor told me, he said, remember, Stephen, um, teenagers only have the attention span of how old they are. So if they're 12 years old, you're good to have 12 minutes. If they're 18, you might have 18 minutes. But after that, good luck. And so I got into a habit of one of my little ways of teaching was, after about 5 minutes, I would allow something to happen. I would allow uh, a break in the conversation, even if it was a distraction. That way they're not just, and so many people were like, man, get on point, get on point. Well, in a way, if I stayed on point, they would lose focus. So maybe by breaking the conversation up a little bit, that was helping do it, other than saying a bathroom break, you got 2 minutes, that wouldn't go along with me. So maybe it would have, I don't know. So, but this year will be 7 years that I've been a youth pastor, and wow. So I'm pretty certain that it's 7 years. So but I've noticed in that 7 years that it's not just teenagers, that it's parents, it's anyone that gets on a phone. Now, up here in Mountain View, people have longer attention spans. They will sit quietly and listen to you talk. They will sit quietly through a whole song and not distract you. They will have conversations. They will sit and read a book. I know people that just sit down, outside of my wife. She's a bookworm. But I know people that just sit quietly and just read and not scroll. And wow, that is such a needed thing in our world. Think about the last time you sat down for a lunch break and didn't scroll while you're eating. Used to, a long time ago, you would sit down to take a break. You would sit down to eat a sandwich, and you would just process. It might be what you're going to have to do when you get home. It might be just, oh man, I needed this break. But sadly, we don't do that now. I know that I don't, and I need to. I'm working on it, but in general, you sit down and you start eating, start scrolling. If I go somewhere, I intentionally now will pick up a magazine in a doctor's office. And I've made a comment to my chiropractor when he came out to say it was my turn. I was like, wow, look at this. I forget what I called it, but it was like this, what was it, early tablet. And he was like, what? I was talking about the magazine, and I just wanted to, I forget what words I used, but Anyway, you get the point. This is probably my 3rd or 5th or 10th closing. I don't know. But I'm going to do it this time. And if you stuck through here, this whole thing, leave a comment about what you're going through, what your perspective is on one of these subjects or all of them. I'll take the time to read them. So, yeah. Y'all be blessed, be loved, and go out and share Jesus with somebody. They deserve it. You deserve the boldness. You need the encouragement. So, love you.